We all collect things, thingies, as Lynn Sweet likes to call them. Art, trinkets on the wall, tchotchkes. These are the things that remind us of a trip we took, or a memory that we have, or a person that we met. I have this coffee cup with my grandfather's name engraved on the front of it, Mac. And every time I see it, I'm reminded of all the things that he did and he taught me. When we would visit him in Southern California, he would let me mow the lawn with him. He mowed with an old wheel and blade mower, so every time you cut the lawn, you smelled exactly what was being cut. Or we would go into his workshop and construct a puzzle and cut it out on his jigsaw. On Sunday mornings, we found ourselves heading to church, and he would be dressed in his suit, and he'd have 3 feet of perfect Sunday school attendance pins on his jacket. This cup is a reminder and a remembrance of who he was and how he lived his life and how he expressed his faith. Our stories are woven together, mine and his and mine. And this reminds me of all that he was. It was Passover. The last 24 hours Jesus would spend as a human being, and his final moments with his friends and his disciples. He invited them to dinner and to the table, and around that table, as they reclined and as they ate and as they drank and even laughed, Jesus was about to give them something to remember him by. When Jesus took those 2 common elements of bread and a cup of wine, he turned them into a sacred sacrament that we would still be celebrating 2,000 years later. The bread for his broken body, the cup for his poured out blood. And the cup was a common cup. It was one that a carpenter turned Jewish rabbi would have had. It wasn't gold, it wasn't gilded, it wasn't bedazzled. It was just made out of wood. The casual observer would see an everyday common cup. But it was more than just a common cup. It was a common cup. Everyone was invited to partake of it. Everyone was welcome at the table and with the cup. You were invited into Jesus' life. In fact, that moment he invited his very betrayer to the same. Jesus invites me and you today. And in giving his cup to us, Jesus said this one thing to us: remember. It's things like that and things like this that help us do just that. I hope you'll follow this journey at storylectionary.com. I hope if you're on social media, you'll look for the hashtag StoryLectionary and join us as we remember.